to the Good News Freedom Show. I am your host, Brother James Deaton, and we're going to sing a song for you when God shows up. So if you all would, pray for us. Have you ever had a hard day in life? Seems the rough sea before you and the enemy behind. You feel it's the end and you've had enough. The waters they part, there's dry land when God shows up. When God shows up, things are going to change. Go to your knees in prayer, have some faith, anchor to Jesus. When I see it's rough, God shows up. Have you ever felt life's bringing you down? In addiction and trouble, shows up, things are going to change. Go to your knees in prayer, have some faith, anchor to Jesus. When I see His God shows up. So anchor to Jesus. When I see it's rough, things they will change. When God shows up. All right, hello everybody, and welcome again to the Good News Freedom Show. And as you can tell, we've got a guest this week. Miss Ariane Hill is here, and she is going to play her flute, and then we're going to come back and interview her. So y'all will pray for her that she does a good job. God bless you. Go ahead. right. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Good News Freedom Show. I am your host, Brother James Deaton, and as you can tell, we have a guest with us, Ariane Hill. How was that?
It was perfect.
Awesome. All right. Okay. There's just certain names that sometimes I have a little bit of trouble trying to announce, but I've done good on that one, so I'm happy for that. And we're going to do, as we do every week, for our show, we consider this the theme of our show. We go to the Gospel of John, the 12th chapter, 32nd verse, and if I be lifted up from earth, will draw all men unto me. And we are thankful for that. Before we get started here, we want to tell you about some things coming up. On the 23rd of July, we will be doing a live broadcast from 12 noon to 3 at it's my church, the Oasis of Love. It's going to be their block party, so we'll be doing that. And then on that day, we're going to go to the Bible Walk Museum in Mansfield also, and we're going to be doing that for a live broadcast. So if anybody wants to come out to that, I imagine they wouldn't mind. And then there's just things going on. If you listen to the radio program, you can hear it, and we'll just get it out there about things coming on. But anyway, we have with us Miss Ariane Hill. Thank you again for coming. I know I said it wrong. Ariane Hill. So,
That's okay. Thank you for having me.
But I like to start off every week. I like to ask people, when did you become a Christian?
Well, I became a Christian at a very young age. I always grew up in a Christian household.
Right.
So, and my grandma was the one that led me to Christ. I was 3.
Right.
I was a very bright 3-year-old, so I understood what I was doing. And,
right.
You know, I understood about the Lord and, you know, how he came to earth and
right.
died on the cross for us. And I accepted him at a young age, but it didn't really sink in
right.
until I was a little older.
Right.
Because I was 3 years old.
Right, yeah.
So I did okay going through my single-digit years, and then when I became a teenager, I struggled
right.
a little bit. And it wasn't until it was my first year of college that I really, really struggled.
Right.
And I just cried out to God, and I apologized, and I said, I'm so sorry. I know that I've been messing up. I know I haven't been living for you. I just need you to, I just rededicated my life to Christ.
Right.
So that
and
was.
where'd you go to school at?
Ashland University.
Oh, okay. My hometown,
yes.
Ashland. Well, you're in Ashland now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our hometown. How's that?
Right.
Okay. But yeah, it's a great town. I love the town. Did you go to the Balloon Fest?
No, I had to work.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't go either. But anyway, so when you were in college, what was it that led you to the Lord? I mean, now see, I never went to college. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I was in the service, so I did my thing but it was all men, you know, so there really wasn't a lot of pressure like I can imagine what it'd be like in school, especially in today's society, you know.
Mm-hmm. I was very sick at the time,
right.
and I asked for help from multiple people, and I wasn't getting the help that I needed.
Right.
And I was just at my lowest point,
right.
and I was actually wanting to die.
Right.
So my last resort was to cry out to God.
Right.
That was the only thing I knew how to do.
And that's all you need? I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Sometimes all you can say is Jesus, but he hears you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, now, if you was watching earlier, you realized that she could play the flute. I am a musician. I love to play music, and I love it when other people can play music. When did you realize you could play music, and when did you realize that flute was the instrument of your choice? You play piano too, right? Just a little?
Hardly.
Okay. All right.
I can play enough to get by.
Okay.
I have always loved music, so
right.
I used to sing and dance. I did ballet when I was 3. I loved singing at my church
right.
growing up, but it wasn't until 5th grade that I actually started to play an instrument. Unless you count my little Tykes piano.
Right.
But, yeah, 5th grade, I picked up flute, so we got to test all the different instruments, and
right.
I had a very bad overbite, so that ruled out, like, trumpet and
right.
things with that sort of mouthpiece because it would affect the way I played.
Right.
So I could actually create a good tone on flute to
right.
start, so that's what I stuck with, and I've loved it ever since.
Right. And now you've got a new job coming up, right?
Yes.
And how you're excited.
Oh my
Did you see your
goodness.
face light up when I said that? But if you would, go ahead and tell everybody about the new job that you've got coming up here.
So starting August 23rd, I will be teaching 5th through 12th grade band at Mansfield Christian.
Yes.
And I am thrilled because I love band. I love music, and I love helping younger kids, find their passion for
Right.
music and that sort of thing, just like I did. Music is a universal language,
Yeah.
and it's a means of worship.
Yeah.
And in a Christian school, that's what I can teach.
Yeah.
It's not just something to do. It's a means of praise and worship.
Right.
So I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to convey that to my students.
Right. Now, now you went to, where was your high school? Madison?
Madison.
Now, what was it like being in the band there? Was it, I mean, it had to be fun, right?
It was fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got older and started playing in a different band that I realized this is my means of praise.
Right.
I played in the band. We played secular music.
Yeah.
That was it. And when I started playing in church, I was like, okay, I can use my instrument to worship.
Right.
And it takes on an entirely new meaning when you use your instrument and your gift to worship it, to
Yeah.
give it back to God.
Right.
Because that's where it came from in the first place.
Yeah.
So it was definitely fun, especially in high school when I got to play some more difficult music. But when I started playing in my other band outside of school, we would just sit for hours and just worship.
Right.
And just, the music would just evolve and change, but it was all worship.
That's awesome.
And my mom would be upstairs crying. She was like, I don't know what you guys were playing, but it was wonderful. We weren't playing to perform.
Right.
We were playing just to praise. So it's important to have that aspect.
Right.
Now,
when you went to Ashton University, did you play for their band?
Yeah, I played in the marching band,
Right.
in the jazz band, in the symphonic band. I played in a jazz combo. I played in the flute choir.
Yeah.
But
A flute choir.
Flute choir.
How many members are in that?
Depended on the year.
Yeah.
Sometimes there were 7 of us.
So 7 flutes, just flutes playing.
Yeah, you would have piccolo, C flute, which I just
Yeah.
played, alto flute, and bass flute. Bass flute's my favorite. If I could
I
have
would
a
like
bass
to
flute,
see that.
it looks like a candy cane. The head joint literally wraps around.
Yeah.
It's so cool, but yeah.
And that's the bass flute.
Yes,
Okay.
it's fun.
I didn't know there was a bass flute. So now with your new job, okay, like your band. Now, will you teach them? Will it just be mainly praise and praise and gospel music, or will you be allowed some secular music?
Oh, we'll definitely be allowed secular music. There's a lot to learn from, the staples.
Right.
They need to be well-rounded before they leave
Right.
that school. So especially my high school kids, I want them to be able to play, a chorale, a march,
Right.
Something fast-paced. And, there are praise songs that can fit into those categories.
Right.
Maybe not the marches, but they need to play some of everything, because once they get to college, if they don't go to a Christian college, they're not going to be familiar with
Right.
any of the music.
Yeah.
So I want them to be well-rounded, and I definitely want for a warm-up we can play maybe a hymn
Right.
that has different parts where they can hear different chords and progressions and that sort of thing. But I definitely want them to be well-rounded.
That's awesome. And so, as for being a teacher, you'll be able to. I'm sure you'll be able to have some contacts with Ashton University. Like if you run into just a musician that's just rocking your world, you can probably say, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
you got to hear this kid." You know what I mean? Okay.
Yes, I can definitely reach out to other schools and have people to come listen to them, and
Right.
that's opportunities for scholarships
Yeah.
and things of that nature. So I can definitely be instrumental, no pun intended, in that aspect.
She can be instrumental. Did you hear that? She should have said I can be instrumentalist in that. So, but now, well, when you, this just came into my head. This is nothing on here. But if you ever do anything where you think we could maybe come and cover it, would you allow us to do that?
Yeah.
Because man, we could do maybe for like our Christmas show.
As long as it's music that we don't have a copyright issue with. So if it's older music that's in the public domain, we don't have to have.
Well, what if we have the BMI rights though? We can
if
play
you
BMI
do,
music. Yeah.
If you do, then that's fine.
Well, then you guys could. Well, maybe it'd be better for you guys to come here, maybe for like a Christmas special, and not like last year we had Jacinta and Aaron Williams come on. So maybe next year we can. Well, you'll be at that job for 3 or 4 months. Maybe we can come over and do like a Christmas special.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Man, that would excite the kids too.
Right. That would be so exciting.
Now, I know you're just starting the job, but where would you like to see it in, say, 5 to 10 years?
In 5 to 10 years, I want to be at the same school.
Yes. Okay.
That is the goal. I mean, I want the experience, but I would my goal is to stay at that school until I retire.
Right.
To build a program. It's hard to build a program when you're moving from school to school.
Almost like a football coach.
Yeah. So if I can still be at Mansfield Christian, that would be my biggest goal.
Right.
And then I want to increase the size of the band because I'm sure there are other students in that school that play instruments that just aren't in band.
Right.
So I want to increase the size of the band. Right now, our oldest class are juniors, so I'll have 2 years with them.
Right.
But I want the full range of grades in the high school band.
Right.
And then also I want to start a jazz band and a pep band at the school.
Right.
They don't have that right now. So we might have to start with a jazz combo if we don't have enough interest, and then work our way up to building a jazz band and then a pep band for sporting events.
Right. And now, like sporting events, I know Mansfield Christian doesn't do football, right? But they do basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have the band for basketball.
Exactly.
Right. So that's pretty cool. Well, I'm telling you, I look forward to seeing what you're going to do with it. But we've hung out a couple of times, and we've had a blast. We was working on a song, but I think the day after you came to the house was when the storm hit.
Yeah.
And it's like that wiped. Was you out without power?
A little bit.
Okay, yeah, we was only out about a day, but I actually didn't work the next day. I got to work and the power was out. So, now, you as an individual, are you willing to go to different churches and minister with the flute or singing?
Yeah, I already do, actually. So I started playing at Grace Evangelical Free Church in Mansfield.
Okay.
And I played there for a while, and then I moved to Ashland, and then my accompanist from AU, she's the organist and pianist at Ashland First United Methodist Church, and so she invited me one year for Christmas to play, and then that turned into me coming for Easter to play.
There you go.
And then she was like, well, we're hoping you would come this Sunday as well, so I just started going more frequently to play there. And then my brother Alex, he is the youth leader at Five Stones in Ashland, and the worship leader there, I don't know how they got on the topic of me singing, but they did, and he put my name out there and said that I would sing with the worship team. So they put me in the rotation at Five Stones to sing with the worship team. So every couple Sundays I sing there.
Awesome. Cool. So when Tyler edits this, we can go ahead and put your number at the bottom, so if anybody wants to contact you, they can give you a call and maybe have you come to the church.
Sure.
Cool. Awesome. All right, now we're going to go off. We're going to get off music topic just for a little bit. I like to ask. Okay, now you know that I go to Oasis of Love.
Right.
Okay, Oasis is predominantly a black church, and it's in today's world and today's society. We just, especially here in the United States, it just seems like we just cannot get away from the race issue. You know what I mean? I mean, every couple of weeks, just when you think things are about to die down, something happens. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
What happened in Akron.
Yeah.
But it's like, and to me, I have a hard time understanding why it's taken so. I don't know if you saw the program where I had the white pastors and the black pastors on. Why is this? Why can't we work together? Like Ray J, why don't you invite Brother Jay's church over? Brother Jay, invite Brother Tim's church over to your church. And I'm just curious, as a younger person, what do you think is the problem, or what do you think it would be the fixture for the problem?
I don't know if there's ever going to be a solid fix for the problem
Right.
until Jesus comes back.
Right.
Honestly, because we live in a sinful world,
Yeah.
and there are many, many people that are lost.
Yeah.
So they don't have the Holy Spirit convicting them. So the person not the person, but the being that they are guided by is
Right.
Satan. So, and he wants us divided.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us living in harmony and peace. So I think there's always going to be some sort of issues at some point in time.
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but I think that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think as Christians, we need to step up and be the example, because there are plenty of Christians that are still having issues with race.
Right.
And that's a shame. Like, that's not of Jesus. That's
Right.
not of God. And he wouldn't want us to, treat others like that.
Well, see, I think his job is to cause division. I mean,
Right.
well, I don't know if you saw the guy on YouTube or Facebook where he was saying that, 1 year it's black versus white, the next year it's green versus brown, then the next year it was masked versus unmasked, then vaccine versus unvaccinated. And it's like, now this year we're getting back in, slowly it seems like we're getting back into the black versus white issue, which I totally do not understand. Now I've been to Africa 3 times, and over there though, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hotel Rwanda. If you've seen it, that's a live thing. I mean, that actually happens. I mean, it still happens today, but you don't hear about it. Well, here you don't hear about it. Here, I think the main thing is, let's keep them divided, the black and the whites, right? And if that can, but it's like, okay, now, but like when somebody like I go into Oasis of Love Church, and I'm playing with the band, okay, it's like, well, it's not working here. It's like we got to think of something else, because they're getting along. And I get along with everybody that I run into.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever really seen it, firsthand. Because, well, I've been to Mansfield, I've been to Akron, Cleveland, and it's like most people that you run into. I tell people, if you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
But if you go in with I was even talking to a couple of black guys that I worked with one time from Chicago. I said, I don't think I could make it in Chicago because I think that city would eat me up. And he said, you can make it. And I'm like, well, what makes you so sure I can make it? He says, you're the real deal. He says, if you walk into a room and you've got this, he says, you know what you're talking about. He said, there's other people. And he said, don't get us wrong. He says, the street thugs and all those guys, they'll know if you're the real deal or not. And he says, just from what I see, he said, you're the real deal. And he says, you wouldn't have a problem in Chicago.
Right.
And I said, well, you may say that, but I'm still not going to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just a. I hate to bring that topic up all the time, but it's just like,
it's still a prevalent issue, though.
Yeah, and it's like, and I've wondered, okay, and everybody keeps saying stuff about slavery. Okay, well, slavery ended, 150 years ago. I'm like, do the Israelis still not like the Egyptians? Because it seems like slavery is not something that just happened here. You know what I mean? It happened before. It happened other places. And it's like, there just comes a time, or maybe you just need to let the past be in the past. I mean, we have to have our history, because if we don't have our history, we'll fail and we'll repeat our history.
Right.
But it's like, and as far as this country, I absolutely love this country. There's nowhere else I would rather be. I mean, it's you can do anything you want to do. You can achieve any goal you want to achieve. I mean, like you, I think in 5 to 10 years, Mansfield Christian is going to be known for its band, and it's going to be because of you. So I'm just thankful for that. But we're running out of time here. Doesn't the half hour fly by?
It flies.
I told you, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, but we're running out of time here, and what I like to do every week is maybe you could do it this week. If there's anybody out there that's just, how would you invite them to come to know the Lord? If you had to, right there at that camera, right below, above the clock.
I would say that knowing the Lord is the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Yep.
Even in my good times and my bad times, it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And it's the only way to heaven.
Yep.
So if you want to know the Lord, call in. Someone will speak with you, and we will help you to know the Lord.
Right on. Amen. And as we tell you every week, if you're in need of anything, if you're in need of prayer, if you're looking for a church, just, wherever you're at, if you need anything, call us. If we're not in your area and you need a good home church, we will help you find one. We know pastors all over. And like I said, if you need prayers, feel free to call me, 419-685-3788. Do anything we can for you. And again, we want to thank Tyler. We want to thank Shannon back there in the control room and for the job they do. This just keeps getting better and better every week, I think, and I love it. And we've been at it over a year now. It's just amazing that the door the Lord has opened. And, as I tell you every week. And now, do you have any, let me see, do you have any CDs or anything? Or would you be willing to record a CD one day, or has that even crossed your mind?
I have music out with my band.
Okay. And where can I get that at?
It's on streaming platforms, so Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify.
What's the name of your band?
The Afronauts. Weird spelling. AFRXNTS.
Okay, spelled out. Okay, she's going to write this down for me. But what we're going to do, we're going to wish you guys the very best. And as we tell you, again, if you need anything, feel free to call us, 419-685-3788. And as we tell you every week, be good to each other on purpose. God bless you all. And Lord's willing, we'll see you next week. Bye.